We're taking the Useless Hotline on the road in May, but unfortunately, all the shows are sold out.
Except for our extra special supersonic finale end of the show, exotic end of the tour finale show!
In the O2 Shepherd's Bush Empire in London on the 18th of May.
But George, what makes this show so special?
Well, Max, I'll tell you what makes it special. We've got special guests including
Joe Baggs,
Arthur TV,
my boyfriend Andrew,
and my boyfriend Arthur Hill.
Ooh! So get tickets now before they all sell out at theuselesshotline.com. That's theuselesshotline.com.
That was my line.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Max Balegde, and I'm George Clarke, and welcome to the Useless Hotline. TikTok wasn't working out for us, we decided to set up our own little business. Yes, we did. Sorry, I'm trying to do all parts right now. As you can see, George is not here, or if you're an audio listener, I'm telling you right now that George is not here. Sadly, he got into a physical altercation over the weekend, and he was beaten up by a 12-year-old child. It comes with great sadness to say that obviously George is just no match for anybody really, and the next time I see him I might even just throw a punch in there as well because I really strongly just dislike him. But who cares that he's not here today? Also, when was it the episode before when I wasn't here, he didn't even explain that I wasn't here, and people were messaging me like, are you in this episode? I can't hear you. And apparently George just didn't say anything. So, do you know what, George? I'm not going to tell them why you're not here either. It's a secret project, guys. And if George shows up with an entirely new face and lip filler, then you know what he's been up to. That's all I'll say. But anyway, I won't even be doing much more chit-chatting because I've just had an email from our receptionist, Callum, that Bradley, today's guest, has actually arrived. So let's see where he is. Come on in, Bradley! Woo!
Thanks for having me.
Oh my goodness, look, did you know that we film in front of a crowd of 250,000
I actually
people?
had no idea. I'm quite nervous
I
now.
know, it's quite nerve-wracking, isn't it? But how are you, Bradley Riches? It's so nice to see you.
I see you as well. I'm doing good. I feel like after Big Brother, there's this jet lag. I feel like no one talks about it.
I can't even imagine.
You're locked away for 3 weeks, and then you come out and you're like, this is real. I just tired all the time, but I had the best time there.
Oh my God. I can't wait to dive into it all. But I, beforehand, just want to let you know that this is the Useless Hotline. Mm-hmm. We're a very serious workplace,
yes,
as you know, obviously. And if you could just have a look in that cabinet behind you, please. That would be amazing. Thank you. Oh.
Okay.
First guest to not be able to work out how to do it. There we go. Look at that. Well, would you want a drink? Well, you've already got a drink, really, haven't you?
Yeah, but
okay then. I mean, feel free to raid
I'll just hold this.
Yeah,
so,
just
yeah.
hold it. Just to give you something to do. Yeah, treat yourself. It's the weekend. At the time of filming this, it is bank holiday weekend.
Friday, isn't it?
So we're getting crazy today. Bradley, I mean, what a whirlwind of the last year that you have had. I can't even imagine how crazy you feel internally. But I want to take it all the way back.
All the way back.
Okay, all the way back, baby. So, I mean, I met you, probably a year ago, was it? No, last summer.
Where did we meet?
I met you at Pride.
Yeah.
And I, for whatever reason, I have no idea why, but I was very glad to be there. I got invited to walk with the Heartstopper cast with Netflix for Pride, and I got there and I was like, why have I been invited?
But we had a great time.
We had the best time. It was me, you, and Belle.
Yeah.
Just running around, darting around. Everyone's screaming your guys' names, oh my God, Heartstopper. And it was a wild time. And we
Trying
had
not to get hit by the truck as well.
Literally,
dodging the truck.
So this was the real kicker, is that you guys hadn't actually been shown on the show yet, had you?
No, this before, yeah.
So they were like, do you know what? We've got limited space on this bus. Let's put the cast that have already been on. We'll put them on. Yeah. And you and Belle were like, what? Excuse me.
What is going on?
What is happening here?
I think they could only have 10 people in the truck. So then there was 4 of us just walking. And we're like, I mean, it was fun.
Yeah, do you know what? We had a great time anyway. We had a great time. But I want to take it all the way back. Okay. Whereabouts are you from?
I'm originally from near Guildford.
Never heard of it.
Surrey? Guildford?
Okay, I've heard of Surrey.
Near 20 minutes from, do you know Reading?
Reading? Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been to Reading Festival.
Well, 20 minutes from there.
It's
That's where I'm
terrifying
from.
place.
It is very scary. I went just for a Sunday and I couldn't cope.
Oh my God. I went last year and I literally don't know why I did it. First of all, it's full of 16-year-olds. What was I doing there? I was literally resident grandpa. But yeah, a wild place. Oh, so that's fun then.
Yeah.
Oh my
20
gosh.
minutes from there.
So what were you like in school?
In school, I didn't really have... I had like one or two friends, but I never gelled with anyone. I think it was like a lot of school years, it's like me trying to find out who I was growing up. And I think obviously bullying was a thing, wasn't it? It was like, you're gay, you're this. And before I even knew. But what now?
How old are you?
22.
22,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm 25 and I feel like when I was like, you know, in high school and stuff like that, I feel like nowadays the word like bullying and stuff, it's a lot more known and like teachers even are more well equipped in like doing it, whereas I feel like people around like our age, there still was a lot of bullying going on back then that teachers didn't really know what to do with it, or they chose to ignore it, and it didn't happen. So
but also I feel like when we were in that situation, it was like we were getting bullied, but we were scared to say anything because it could escalate, and people were like, "Oh, you're a snake, you're a snitch."
Oh my gosh,
stuff
definitely.
like that.
I remember in my primary school, I loved primary school.
Yeah.
And high school, I was like, I feel like in primary school, you get praised for being like the smart one in the class, or like it's a lot more wholesome. And then you go to high school. Bear in mind, I had a full fringe and a bob, so I was asking for it the second that I got in there. And of course, people were like, "Are you a boy or a girl?" And I was there like, "I'm a boy, please stop." So I got like relentlessly attacked in like the first year of high school. But I feel like it's also character building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I wouldn't want anyone else to go through
No,
it, but
oh my God, no, we're not advocating. Please do not. We're not advocating for bullying or being bullied.
But
here.
it does make us stronger, made us who we are today. I think that's a positive we can take from the negative.
I think a lot of people that I meet in this industry, a lot of the successful people like yourself, everybody has pretty much been through a traumatic or like difficult time. And I think that whilst obviously it's awful, it does like sharpen your wit. It does, you know, make you force yourself down these avenues that people don't usually do. So like you've ended up, you know, performing. When did that start for you?
I started going to like weekend school, like acting school, when I was like,
oh, that's so fun.
9. I think it was 9. I think it was every Wednesday night I went, just because I had no confidence, and my nan was like, you need to find the confidence. You can't have no friends for the rest of your life, basically.
Bless you.
And I was like, so I did that, and then I remember walking into this group, and they were all girls, and I was like, oh, and I was a bit like, oh, I thought there was gonna be like a boy here, at least one, and then. Like, I think it was like 3 weeks in, and I just was so confident. I was like acting as these characters in front of all these girls, and then boys came. I was like, no, leave. I don't want you here. I don't want you here. That would just add like another like anxiety. But it's like when they came, and then my confidence just grew and grew, and then I was like, I think I've kind of found acting was like an escapism as such. And like it was very freeing to play someone else and find the confidence in that character, which built my confidence more.
Oh my gosh. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
An older sister, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
So is she like the same way inclined, or?
She doesn't do
Nothing.
Like... But she's definitely the more honest, brutal one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I was always like the one shying away from issues, like, oh my God, no, not speaking about how I was feeling to my parents. But then obviously my sister being in the same school would be like, are you chatting shit about my brother?
Love that.
I don't know if I was allowed to swear, but I swear.
No, absolutely.
Are you chatting
shit about my brother? No, I love that. I've got an older sister as well. And I, unfortunately, as soon as I got to high school was the year that she left. So we never had that crossover, but I just know that people would have been terrified of her.
Oh my God, yes.
Older
sisters are terrifying.
Yeah, I would have loved that. So like acting and stuff, you just said that it felt kind of like an escape for you. Was it, you said your nan was the one that like wanted you to do that?
Yeah.
Was she like the one driving for you to be like, you know, let your creativity out?
Yeah, I think I would never have thought of it as a career at this point. It was
of course.
She was like, oh, what's a confidence builder? What's like get a confidence? And it's like, obviously acting, it's very out there. You can't shy away from like being all theatrical type thing. So she was like, that's probably the best way to get the confidence up. And then as the weeks went on, like the teachers were like, he's actually quite good at that. And then I started going to auditions in London and stuff like that. And then it just kept progressing. And I was like, oh, I could actually do this and get paid for it.
Were you in shows like growing up?
I was not in any like big ones, but I did I did like off West End and like.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was quite an achievement.
Yeah.
But I played twins in a comedy once. So it was Ben and Lisa, and it was called Disaster. It came from Broadway and came
So
here.
you played both?
I played both. So it was a
Wow.
cap with like these braids,
Yeah.
and then I'd be like in my girl voice, and then I would have to like go under something, take off, and like be back. Yeah.
And how old were you doing all things like this?
I was probably 12 or 13 at that point.
That is crazy. Someone who had not a lot of confidence to be able to do that is wild.
Yeah.
Like, were your parents also like on board with it? And like,
Oh my god, yeah. I think a lot of the time that it's like they were never the parents who would be like, oh, it's not a career.
Yeah.
They would never be like that, but it was always like they would always push me to
still do school and
yeah,
stuff.
and then when I got to college and I was still wanting to do this as a job, they're like, oh no, don't worry about the A levels, just go into
That's
the B Tech,
amazing.
do theatre B Tech, and then realistically, if it failed, I could do something else. I could go back, but yeah, they would always be like, you got this, you can just keep going.
It's so clear that you are like a product of a supportive environment because I know, like, even, I mean, I'm from like a very small town where, and people are going to eye roll because I say that word all the time.
From a small town
Honestly,
boy.
I act like, I don't know why I act like I like grew up on a farm or something. It's just like a normal town. But like, I didn't even have, like, I never did acting, or like it wasn't even like a thing that we did in school. I think like I didn't anyway. Some like classes did, some didn't, but like the creative arts and all of those sorts of things in school, where I was from, it was
Yeah.
quite limited. So to see that you had like a family that were pushing you to like extracurricular like things, like that is so amazing.
Yeah.
And I think it's such like a good message to put out there that if you do encourage your children to do this, like you just said, it's not to the like it's not going to be their downfall because they're not doing schoolwork.
Yeah.
They could end up like you.
Maybe.
There
Yeah,
we go.
Don't shut down people's ideas. I think that's
Yeah.
it. Just, help them and let them flourish. I think that's the best thing.
Definitely. So, did you go to college for like acting, or was it? Did you do musical theatre?
Yeah, I did
as
musical
well?
theatre, yeah.
Right, okay.
So I went to just a normal college. That had I didn't go one near me. It was like an hour away, but
Oh, right,
it had
okay.
a better like acting
theatre
facility.
programme,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then I did not a degree. I did a BTEC there, and then after that, then I auditioned for like degrees and stuff like that, and then I did musical theatre degree at Mildale.
Oh my goodness.
Mildale Academy. Yes.
Wow, that's one of the big ones, isn't it?
I think it's up and coming. When I went, it was like, it was quite new. It was like, it's
Yeah.
been open. It had the degree program for like 7 years or 6 years, and then as it's going up, it's more people are getting jobs and it's getting more well known, and they've just moved as well. They've gone to like this massive new establishment.
Oh my goodness, is there going to be like a Bradley Richards corridor?
Maybe. Like,
There
this is
definitely
me,
should
and I
be.
walk down.
You need your own wing.
Yes, definitely.
Oh my god, you need to like come and like cut the ribbon when they open the new.
Bradley Richards' seat just in the theatre.
Oh
one
my
of the
God,
theatres,
yeah.
We should all have seats.
That is so iconic.
And I bet
right,
I'd pay for that
That's
seat.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you're not paying for it. They get that. So you leave college. Did you do like university, or did you go straight into like acting jobs?
Yeah, so when I was in my 3rd year at Mildale, there was an open audition for Heartstopper on Twitter.
wow.
So then, no, it was actually my 1st year for season 1. It was on
Yeah.
Twitter. So then my mum sent it to me and was like, I know you just started your like college,
Yeah.
but you might as well audition. You never know what's going to come for it, type of thing. And then I did the open audition, and then I went for a couple of rounds, like I think maybe 3 for the role of Charlie, who's obviously the lead.
Yeah.
Didn't get it, and then I got a random phone call one day, and it was like, do you want to come on and do like a one-liner in season 1? I was like, yeah, why not? There's no like harm.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I was in the last episode. I only had one line, the last episode of season 1.
Oh my goodness, I did not even realise. That's crazy.
And then it was like all over TikTok, and it was like, he's going to play James and spin the bottle next
Wait, no, I
season.
do remember this. Yeah.
And it was
That's
like all this
wild.
speculation. And then kind of part of me thinks that the TikTok speculation kind of
Like
pushed
boosted
them.
it.
Yeah, because I think it was 2 weeks before filming season 2, and I ran and got an email going, we've been looking for these Jameses everywhere, but we haven't found the right James. We'd love for you to audition. I was like, that's so unheard of. I did one line and then to get an email.
That is crazy.
And then I found out the next day that I got it. I was
The
like-
next day?
Yeah, so I did they wanted me to do a self-tape, and then they randomly, like, it was like a self-tape for the next day, and then that evening they were like, oh, actually, can you jump on a Zoom for tomorrow instead? So I jumped on the Zoom, and then I think it was that evening I found out, or the evening the next, I think it was the evening the next day.
Oh my
But yeah,
goodness.
24 hours, and then
That
3
is a
days later I was on
wild
set.
That is absolutely mental.
It was.
You must have been like, what a roller coaster. Like, how do you even keep saying when that's happening?
It was kind of like, it was when I was doing the job, it was like, this isn't real. Like, I think a lot of the times I've been up for roles and I've had 7 rounds and then didn't get it. So to do like one Zoom
And
then
it's
get
done.
it. It's like, do I deserve this? Like, it feels
You
weird.
definitely deserved it.
It was just so random.
Yeah, I get why you would think that, but no, you definitely deserve it. There's a reason why, and it showed when you know, in your performance in season 2. I guess they didn't really. I don't think Netflix even expected Heartstopper to become like the phenomenon that it did.
No, probably not.
So, like, what does it feel like being such a part of that?
Oh, well, because obviously after seeing season 1 and then it kind of like like blowing up type thing, I just thought it was such an amazing show, something that I think a lot of people need in their life, no matter like the age. So to even audition for that season 2 and actually for them to think for me to be in the show was like, oh my God. And I feel like being in the show surrounded by all those people is like made me feel more accepted in who I am as a person as well. Because I think
it's a very diverse cast.
Yeah, definitely. And like hearing everyone's stories about how they grew up, it was like, you know what? I'm very proud to be who I am. And I think that show really helped me and pushed me in the way of being positive about myself and loving myself more, which is
oh my God,
very thankful for it.
That is so amazing, honestly. So when you get the call, so did you say you have 3 days before you're on set? So does that mean you've got to like learn lines, like get all that sorted?
Yeah, well, with TV, it's like they send you. I think so. So I started on the Monday, but also on the Monday I started my 3rd year at college. So it was all these things. I was like, and I had to email them, and then I was sat in the makeup chair, and they're like, if you do take this role, these are the things that you can participate in next year. And I was sat in the makeup chair like, I'm already here.
Yeah.
But in them 3 days, you do on the Monday it was a makeup check, hair check. So they like work out what your character looks like, and then you have a rehearsal. So me and Toby had a rehearsal about like the big scenes and our story arcs and how they work together. And then I think we filmed my first scene. No, it was my second scene of the show on the second day. And it was like walking into this big room full of these like people who are playing the students and stuff like that, walking to the table of all the leads. And I was like, and it was like my character had to be nervous. I was like, I was not actually walking in and like hitting everyone, turning you. You're like, oh
my
hello.
gosh. And what was that moment like? Like, were you, I mean, obviously you were nervous to meet them, but were they like nice when you met them?
Yeah, because I met them on the first season briefly, not all of them, but some of them. So it felt like me and Toby, I felt like because we had a Zoom already as well, it felt like we knew each other more. Yeah. But when I walked into that room, it was like, I don't really know these people. Like, they don't really know me. And I'm like, are they judging me the way I'm doing this right now?
Sure
and
they were.
It was so nerve-wracking. But and then as the days went on and then we went to Paris, I think that broke a lot of ice. It was like, we all like got along. It was nice. Everyone understood who each other were.
How do like a group of like the most famous people in the world go to Paris? Like, how does that? Did you all get on the Eurostar?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, we all got on the Eurostar.
That is brilliant. Imagine just being like a fan of the show and just getting on a train
happened.
and the entire cast are there. Were people going crazy?
So it was like, I think obviously so I think the seating plans. So Kit and Joe went really early morning, 6 a.m. because they were shooting on that day.
Oh, okay.
And then we weren't shooting until the next day, so our train was at 1 o'clock. So we were having like bottomless drinks, like eating on the train and stuff. And then I think it was in my carriage it was me, Layla, Karina, Cormac, and then the one behind it was Toby, and then Will and Yaz and Kizzy were quite far away. But I remember Kizzy walking down the train, and they were like, there's people, and like I think they've just been spotted there. And as Kizzy was like running away from them type thing, they were following, and the next thing you know, they see Karina, and then they look, and then they just like it was like 1, 2, and it was like an overwhelmed.
Imploded.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is crazy. I would think for some reason I'm imagining Netflix being like, right, you all need to be in full disguise. Like here's the prosthetics, like because that is. The level that the show, like, especially around the time where you would have been filming season 2.
Yeah, because everyone knew we were going to Paris as well.
Oh my God, like, I can't even imagine what that was like. But was the experience in Paris, like, amazing?
Oh, it was so good. And I remember it was kind of one of those moments, it was like, oh my, like, no one was like, oh my God over me, because it was like, I'm not even in the show at this point. But it was like, watching it happen to everyone else, because I remember we had a green room and it was on a boat on the river. And we were sat there, and it was the day that we were filming on the bridge. Like this, I think it's quite a famous bridge, but it was like 2 o'clock.
Is it the one with the locks on it?
Yeah, the one with the locks. And we were filming on there, and then we're filming, and obviously, even if people don't know the show or they do know the show, you're gonna stand and watch.
Of course.
And there was this crowd of like maybe like I might be overexaggerating. No, I'm not actually overexaggerating. Like 300 people behind this barrier, like watching us go up and down, and it was all very like. And then they were like clap after we've done the take and stuff, and then we went down off the bridge into the green room, which was a boat. And next thing you know, they were all coming down, and like we were all in this green room, and like we had to leave to go in the cars, and like these people are literally like trying to get on, not onto the boat, but like try and get like Kit's attention, Joe's attention when they were coming up. It was scary, and I was like, where is the security?
Yeah.
They need security.
Literally, that is crazy, because I mean, I've seen in like outtakes or like behind the scenes from TV shows before.
Yeah.
One of my fave is when the show Glee filmed in New York, and they were having to do like really intimate scenes. I think they were on a bridge as well. It was like the main two characters, like intimate, like quiet scenes as if they're on like a early morning stroll, and then the camera pans to like 1,000 people watching them.
Oh my God.
How do you like maintain like your character acting whilst all that's going on around you?
I think all my scenes were quite lucky because I was like in a corridor, and in that scene, on that bridge scene, I think there was a group of us behind, and we just had to
just walk in.
Yeah, and be like, oh my God, no,
Yeah.
like speak rubbish. But I think because obviously Rhea had like this big monologue, and I don't know how she did it. She was like doing these big, and I was like, she's good. She's good at her job, because my brain would not have been.
That would be crazy. One thing that I've always wanted to ask, like a proper actor such as yourself, when you're doing like behind the scenes stuff like that, like not behind the scenes, sorry, where you're not like at the forefront of the scene, and you're all like pretending to talk with each other. Yeah. Do you actually make noise, or are you like?
So in some takes, the director would be like, make noise, stay silent on this one, so they have a bit of both, but. A lot of the time we can just speak because they're mics as well. Okay. But yeah, a lot of the time we're not very professional. It'd be like we have like these fake phones, and we're like, I mean, because we're like playing kids as well, so it's like it's probably still
being playful.
Yeah. And we like do like these like filters on Snapchat, taking pictures of each other while the camera's rolling. But yeah, because they don't make our mic live, we can speak, but the people whose action is their mic's live. But then obviously ADR after, they could see like my mouth move, and they're like, can you try and work out what you were saying there? And I'm like,
right, yeah.
And you don't know what you're just saying, like, oh my God, yeah. Oh.
Probably saying like TikTok references.
Yeah,
like...
yeah. Do I look weird in this filter? Like those are random things. But I love them scenes. Like when you find out you've got a day of like 4 of those, you're like, this is gonna be a fun day, because you can just do like it's just chill.
You're just chilling with your mates, basically.
Yeah, in the background, just like, ooh, when's lunch? Like you literally talk about lunch sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so cool. So, like you said, when like you know, Kit and Joe were getting so much attention, and like you're like, where is the security? Were you thinking in the back of your mind like, I'm about to be on this show, like? You know, my life is about to change, because obviously, you know, you'd been doing like your shows, and you'd created this like talent for yourself, and like your family knew that, you know, you wanted to do performing, you'd got to that level, but then to get such a huge opportunity, what was that like emotionally, and what did your family say to you? Did they give you any advice? I don't know.
Yeah, I think stuff, when it happens to you, you don't deep it. Like I feel like if I deep it too much, I get scared. Yeah. It's like like when you think about like how many people have watched you, or how many people like message you daily, it's like if you think about it too deeply, it does scare me a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I was just so grateful to have straight away, that was my first professional job, to have that platform on TV, and I never thought I was going to go into TV at all.
Really?
I thought I'd just be on stage for the whole time. But to get that straight away was just. It just didn't, like I said this before, it didn't feel real the whole time I was doing it. Now it doesn't feel real. It's just like it happened. It was like a fever dream.
Yeah, that's crazy. Did any of the cast give you any advice?
Did they give me any advice? Probably not. They're probably like, we've done it. You can do it. Yeah. But I think the positive that I had, like me and Layla especially, it was like they went to an open audition, like the other cast, like the lead cast. They went to an open audition. Didn't know what they just Heartstopper, what's this comic book? Did the show, next thing you know, boom, they're blown up. But me and Layla knew what we were getting ourselves into.
You knew that it was this like beast already.
Basically. Yeah. So it was like wasn't as overwhelming and scary, but with them, I think that was a shock.
I can't even imagine. Jesus Christ. Well done to you, honestly. Like, and I just to like refresh my memory, watched there's a compilation of just all of your scenes on YouTube.
I was like, that's going in my acting reel. When someone sent me the
did
link,
it for you.
Like,
that's so amazing. So I watched it, and like obviously seeing you in person. And then, like, you are such a good actor. Oh. Like, you really are. Like, to be able to convey... Because your character kind of went through a journey of being, like, you know, really happy some scenes and then literally, like, being heartbroken in others. Like, what sort of things do you do to prepare yourself as an actor for, like, those sadder scenes? Yeah.
I think with me, I feel like a lot of the time I remember one of my teachers, he would always be like, just do what feels natural. So I feel like, especially James, I think... his character was so close to me. Like I found so many similarities in me and the character. So most of the time I didn't feel like I was acting, but it was like each time I did a take, especially with the ones in the corridor, it was like it was a new thing. Like this is fresh. You just gotta think, if this has happened like right now, how would I react?
React?
So I think especially with every character I play, it's like what would Bradley do in this, and then have that feeling, but then change it in ways to make it a bit different to not me playing me for the whole time. But if I play me for the rest of my life, I'm happy with that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all right. Sound.
But yeah, it's finding what I would react to that situation like, and then how I can convey that better.
Yeah. And what similarities do you find between you and your character that you played?
I think so many. I feel like we are the same. I feel like we're carbon copies of each other. It's like I think some like awkwardness sometimes. I feel like I can feel with him. I think the obliviousness, I think that's the word. Like he's quite oblivious
like
of
the
like
naive.
Yeah, he's quite oblivious in some situations that I think sometimes I can be a bit like, I can't read a room that well. So I think sometimes like he can't read a room that well. So and I think just like the joy, he's quite joyful and he's like he's just happy to be there, isn't he? So a bit like me.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, I can't even imagine how like it was doing that experience, but I'm so glad that you got to do it, because like you just deserve it, and it's so obvious that I mean, you literally like shone so bright on there. So well done to you,
Thank
Bradley.
you, Max.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
And I think they're filming season 3 now, aren't they?
They finished filming that in December.
So I mean, that means that your character's not in season 3.
It's in it. I don't know how much I can say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, because I was really sad.
No.
All I was when the like Big Brother rumors came around.
Oh yeah.
And I saw it said that you were like maybe going in it. My thought was, oh, surely not, like because they're doing season 3 right now. Like, what's happening?
No, I don't know. I probably can't.
Yeah, you can't say
say
much,
that,
but like let's just say like hopefully
you might see me a little bit. You might see a little cameo.
Okay, well, we'll enjoy that cameo.
Yes.
But then I mean, you as well as that, are an author.
Yes.
Crazy. Such like a special and important book. Do you want to tell us all about it?
Yeah, so the book is a children's book, and hopefully more is coming. For
Really?
I think because this is quite directed to like, like younger and then maybe like teens.
Yeah.
But it's basically a book about a boy who's growing up. He gets diagnosed for being autistic, and then how he's like navigating the world. And I think being autistic and being neurodivergent, I think the representation, there's not a lot of representation. I feel like, and if it is representation, it's the same representation and maybe done in like a negative way. So I think this book, obviously I say about the barriers and the struggles that being autistic can have, but I wanted to focus mainly on like the positives that it has, like the beauty. Yeah, 100%. And what it does for me, like, makes me more creative. It makes me be more open, but also it has the barriers there. But I wanted to have that positive representation in the book for especially younger people, because if I had that, I think I could accept myself very early on. But
Definitely.
I didn't have that, so I didn't know. I felt like an alien. I didn't know who I was.
Of course.
Type
It's
thing.
very much like what Heartstopper was to many people, and literally, as you said before, it's it's a children's book, and some would say Heartstopper is for like younger people. But it's actually for people of all ages.
Definitely.
Because a lot of people have watched Heartstopper and said that, it healed something in them from
their younger self.
Yeah, their younger self. And I was looking up like different people's reviews of your book, and some of them were like way older than like both of us.
Yeah.
And they were saying the exact same thing that you just said. Like it healed something in them because they're neurodivergent and they didn't understand it. And then it's such an interesting way to look at it, because a lot of the like the messaging around being neurodivergent is like, oh, you've been like diagnosed as this, like, and that sounds like, oh, I've been diagnosed.
Ill,
that sounds like an illness. That sounds, but it doesn't have to be like that, and it's not like that. Like so many of like the world's like biggest celebrities or like biggest artists, biggest actors are neurodivergent. And I think it's really important to use that like as the message of it's not a bad thing. No, it just means that you're different, and many people can use it to their advantage. Look at you.
Yeah, and then especially when you know who you are and then how you navigate the world. I feel like I think that's the book. That's why I definitely wanted to write the book, because it's like when you understand yourself, then you can start expressing yourself in different ways and letting other people understand who you are as well.
Yeah.
But I did like a book tour and like a book signing thing. And like the ages were so different. You would have like parents coming to understand more about being neurodivergent for their kids.
That's such a good point.
You'd get older people, like you said, about saying it made them feel seen, and it's been like 20 years since they got diagnosed, and they suddenly just feel more seen. It
Yeah.
was like this whole collection of people, and some people just like Heartstopper and they were there.
Yeah.
But it was like it was like the collection of people. It was just so empowering and so nice. And like there was teachers there. There was a group of teachers who came, and they did like lessons on the book and stuff like that. And it
really?
it just made everyone more. It was insightful and educated everyone a bit more. And even if they are like autistic or neurodivergent and they see like one part of themselves in the book, that's all. That's enough. They feel seen, type thing. Yeah.
I saw somebody say that they really loved the fact that you use Lego.
Yeah.
To like describe, like, what was that something that you actually did, or like that you like kind of mentally like that helps you understand?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I didn't use voice as a way to communicate. I would use like movement or sounds, and a lot of the time it was like before I found acting, Lego was like this big thing for me. It was like where I wanted to play by myself. I had this imagination. I would make like these big roller coasters, and it was like this thing. And I think I wanted to incorporate Lego into it somehow. And I think there was a message in the book, and it was like, think about being autistic as one bit of Lego. Like it's a part of you. Like without having that one little bit of you, you're not you, and you need to celebrate that.
Such a good metaphor.
Yeah.
Like it really is.
Well, yeah.
I
I think that was actually James who made that metaphor.
All right, okay. Just say that it was you. It's
was
fine.
me.
No one will know. But A Different Kind of Superpower is the name of the book. Where can people get it?
On Amazon online, and maybe soon as things progress.
Yeah.
In bookstores, but at the moment just online. Yeah.
So would you want to do more books? Is that something that you're like hoping to explore?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's in talks, but I think I would want to republish this one. I think change bits about it. I think as I've read it more, it's like different things I want to change about it. But then also have one for like, I think like 14 to like 21 year old, like that age bracket, and then also like more of a mature one about like more of like a barrier struggles, how to navigate the world type thing. So I think that's what I would love to do. Yeah.
Such a good idea. Oh my gosh. And you mentioned briefly about you not, and I have an autistic friend as well who had a similar issue where they couldn't they didn't communicate with words as much when they were younger. Yeah. When did that change for you? Was that around the time where your nan introduced you towards like going to acting and things like that?
Yeah. So I think that was the main. So I didn't use words as like a way to communicate my whole childhood. So I didn't make friends, and that was the main reason why I didn't have any confidence.
Like you just said, one of them roadblocks.
Yeah.
Like those blockers that are in
there. No,
there.
100%. Yeah. And then that's when I went to the drama club on the Wednesday club, and I got the confidence. And I didn't speak, but it was like the slow confidence of like even like me just being there, stood there. And then as my confidence built, I then wanted to use words as a way. I would always communicate to my sister. I would always call her Abba and stuff like that, like little things. And then I wanted to use words as a way to communicate, not because other people wanted me, but because I felt
comfortable to do so.
Definitely. And then obviously I then didn't use my voice before, so then I had a stammer, and then I had speech therapy to help that. And that's, I think, when the bullying actually started. It was like I was always the quiet kid in the background during primary school, but then later primary school, it was like people would always ask me what my favourite TV show was, and I would stutter on my R's, and it'd be like Rory the Racing Car. It was my favourite, but
love Rory the Racing Car. Oh my god, I adored that show.
I love Rory the Racing Car.
What a show!
But it would feel like not the teacher to be against me, but it'd be like, Bradley, what's your favourite TV show? And they'd be like, and then everyone would be like, and it was one of those things, and then that obviously whacked my confidence back down. But then
again,
acting,
that's why your book is so important, because you just said teachers showed up there, parents showed up there.
Yeah.
Like you're lucky that you have, a family that like chose to understand you, or at least chose to learn how to understand you. Definitely. And like gave you like the building blocks, the Lego pieces, building blocks to like make you feel more comfortable and things like that. Whereas that is not the reality for a lot of people. A lot of people don't understand it. But having someone like you on a show as big as Heartstopper or as big as Celebrity Big Brother, and having you speak so openly about it and speak so well about it, like truly, you even just having conversations on Big Brother, I think will do so much for so many people, because you are such a clear, like you get your point across so clear and well that you would never know, but it's because you've put in the work and you've had the support to do so. So I think it's so important.
No,
and
definitely.
Well done to you. And
Thank
we'll
you.
be keeping our eyes out for those books, baby.
Oh yes,
we will. Right. So briefly, just spoke about it. Celebrity Big Brother.
I know. What a whirlwind. Whirlwind, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Whirlwind.
When I saw that you were rumoured, my first thought was, I don't think that's true. Yeah. I just did not think, like, I almost put myself into, like, your shoes, and every time that I'd met you, you've just been, like, so overwhelmingly nice and just kind, and you just seem like a generally, like, funny, sweet person. And then when I think of Big Brother, or especially Celebrity Big Brother, I think of Tiffany New York Pollard.
Yeah, iconic.
I would pretty much let Gemma know. Like, and I just think of people hurling abuse at each other. Yes. I think of, like, Leslie Jordan getting his underwear cut up. I think of so many things, Heidi and Spencer. Like, and I was just like, Bradley's, like, what if someone's mean to him?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I was literally like, I would be so upset watching that. So I was like, surely he's thinking the same thing and would not want to do it. But you did it, and it was such a different experience.
Yeah,
like,
it was a whole different vibe.
Oh
I think
my
that's what got not sold to us, but that's what got told to us. It was like, it's gonna be more of a family show. It's gonna be more like, when you think of, like, the jungle, like, that vibe. Like, obviously there's gonna be bickers, arguments. That's natural, but it's gonna be more of a positive thing.
Love that.
Like, I don't think they even showed us talking about, like, sex and stuff like that.
No, I don't think so.
Nothing like that.
No.
It was very, very PG, which is really cool. But it was
I wouldn't say PG.
Oh no, yeah, not that far.
Maybe like 13 plus.
Yeah.
So what made you want to do it?
Yeah, so I got asked to go on it because I think the main reason, it was like what they struggled with Big Brother. When you think of Big Brother, it's the yelling, it's the arguments, and they wanted to reach out to a new audience. I think a younger audience, well, as well as the older audience, but more of a bigger audience, basically. So I think that's the main reason why I got approached. And I think then I started speaking about my, like, how I grew up and stuff like that, and they thought it would just be I'd be a good person to go into it. And then there was obviously the people, like, not thousands of people, but loads of people telling me not to do it type thing, because they obviously...
Who in your life was telling you not to do it?
It was more... It was more like... People go, are you sure? It wasn't like, don't do it.
Like,
it was
worried about you.
Yeah,
almost,
like when you said people won't be mean to me, that's the thought my dad went. He was like, the public, I don't care about them, but it's like, if you're in there with no phone and people, like, being horrible towards you, you're not going to be able to cope.
It's a lot for anybody.
No, definitely. So I thought, and then about me was like, it's come to me, like, should I just do it? And then as the times went on, I then signed the contract, and I was still like, I might not do it. And then I was like, and it was like the day before, I went, yeah, I'm going.
Oh my God. So was it like obviously a difficult decision for you to make?
Yeah, but deep down I always knew I was going to do it.
Yeah.
It was one of those, it was like, oh yeah. No, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. And it's like, okay, yeah. Oh yeah. But I just, deep down, I knew it was happening.
Yeah.
But then my mum would, like, message me, have you said yes? Have you signed the contract? And I went, oh, no, not yet. And then time went on, I was like, I've kind of said yeah, but it's kind of like not in writing yet.
It's so funny. On the day that the first episode came out, so somebody had started a rumor on Twitter that I was in it.
I thought I was going to see you in there.
Did you really?
I was the two people I thought I was going to see. I thought I was going to see you in there. And do you know Harriet Rose?
Harriet Rose, yeah.
I thought I was convinced I was going to see you two in there. I don't know why.
I would love to be in there with Harriet Rose and you, to be fair.
And Sharon.
Oh my God, of course. But like, so it got put. So somebody started it on Twitter. I have no idea where. Somebody made a fake Instagram account of me and posted on that story, like, look out for me on your CBB screen soon, guys, and like an eye emoji and all this. So loads of people started texting me. It was like the day of it, like, are you going in? And I was like, well, first of all, if I'm going in, I've not got my phone. Yeah. And then my mum, I was actually on a plane, and I just about to land to the UK. And my mum called me, and I had like 10 missed calls from her. She was sobbing, and she was like, "You are not going in there, and you've not told me, are you?" Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Joanne, calm down. I just answered the phone. I am here. So I was like, what on earth? And then that also made me think, like, if it was so easy for the rumors to spread that I was going in when they were not founded in anything, I was like, maybe Bradley isn't going in.
Because I got rumored on the Tuesday, I think, and then it was like, and I would always look at these people rumored, like, you'd get, like, I don't know, like, different people rumored who you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I could see them going in there. Yeah. And then I was like, they're never gonna get me. Why would I go? Do you get me? It was like, well, it's not in, like, I wouldn't have done it type thing, but it was like, yeah, and it was like, why would he go and that no one would, like, suspect me? That's the word I was looking for. And then randomly on Wednesday, my partner got a phone call from someone who was up north and was like, is your boyfriend going into Big Brother? And he was like knew that I was, obviously, and was like, no, why? And he was like, it's all over the paper. And I was like, what? Why am I in the paper?
How does stuff like that happen?
No, I think it might have been like but then they were saying, like, words that I've said in my VT, like, literally word, and I was like, surely it's someone in that mix that.
I don't understand it. We just had Tia Coffee on the podcast from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, cool.
And I said to her the same thing. I was like, every season of RuPaul's Drag Race, the entire cast leaks online.
Yeah.
The order placements of who goes home when leaks online.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does this happen? Like, there must be someone who obviously was involved in like the process of getting you all on.
Oh my God, yeah.
That just like sold a story, like got a fact check, sold the story to like the Daily Mail or something.
Because The Sun was an exclusive. It was like, but the whole lineup, every single person, and said exclusive. And that's when I started getting phone calls from my family and friends going, congratulations. I went, no, it's speculation.
Yeah.
Me giving him my phone. It's speculation. Take my phone. But then I was just like, it was just, people weren't even asking me. It was like, because it's an exclusive, a lot of shows like that, they show who's going in. But then I like did a bit of research on everyone. I was like, who are they? Like, will I get
so
along
did you
with
know many of the people going in beforehand, or did you only know them through researching them?
So I didn't research everyone. I people that I had not, like, I didn't know what ZZ did. And then I knew who Marisha was because I'm a big fan of Marisha.
I love Marisha. I watched her in Dreamgirls.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. It was the best thing I've ever seen. I've been a fan of her ever since. I was shocked to see her in it as well, to be honest.
I love her. Yeah. I was with her yesterday, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And then I would like, it was more like, I didn't look about what's happened with them. It was like what they do.
Yeah,
and that
so
was
that
it.
You just know a brief. Also, you don't really want to go in with preconceived notions.
No, because that would be the back of your head,
do
and it's like you don't use. And I made such good connection with everyone in there, which was really nice. And I wouldn't want anything to like tamper.
No,
that.
of course not. Of course not. So, did they keep you in hiding beforehand? How long is that?
So we went. So
I saw the clips of you all going into the hotel.
Oh yeah, no, because I was the first one in. So mine was at 9 a.m. Oh, so I was really early. But then as the day went on, obviously people were like, "Oh, they're in this hotel." But yeah, it was. So we went in. I went at 9 a.m. on Saturday. No, when was the Brits? No, Sunday.
Saturday.
Yeah, so
And
Sunday, 9 a.m.
Sunday,
Sunday. I went in. And then during that day they check like if you're branding on your bags, like every like little thing. They go through that, and then they do like a welfare check, and they do all like the admin-y stuff before you go in. And then Monday's the same thing, and then obviously Monday night you go into the house. You don't know what order you're going into. Wow. You get like you're with a chaperone, and they get a text going, "Okay, Brady on standby, Brady down." And I was looking at the clock, and it was like 9:37. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna be one of the last ones. I wanted to be one of the first ones, so I didn't walk in and everyone was there." And then we went into like, there were like black cabs, and not black cabs, but blacked out windows cars. And we were in a car park, and you could see like people getting makeup checks like on the other side of the car park. Wow. And then that car went in, I went, oh my God. And then the cars were going in, I was like, I'm one of the last ones, but there was one over there, which was obviously Fern, because I went in, then Fern, and then that was everyone. But there was when we were in the car, my car pulled up in the wrong position, and they opened the car door, and then obviously the light hit my face, so the person in the next car could see me, and it was Lauren. It was Lauren in the next car,
God.
and she could see me in the next car.
That's crazy. Oh my goodness. I mean, what were you feeling? Like, what you get thrown in, and then what is going on in your head the second that you're in there?
Well, when I walked in,
as soon as you're in the house,
I walked in, I probably like a deer. I was literally like this, like what the hell just happened?
I think most people would be. Though.
It was so scary. But when you're in there, you're just like slowly speak with people. Like you don't want to like. I don't know. It was a bit weird. Then you just speak with each other. And then I think we had a game or something, and then you go to bed, and then you have to unpack your bags. But yeah, it was. Well, my head was, what am I doing here? Like,
did you like struggle to sleep that first night?
Oh my God, first two nights, like awful. Like I think people didn't sleep the whole time. Really, some people.
Really?
But like the first 2 nights for me, I'd wake up randomly and just look around and be like, what? Why is there 60? Well, I don't know. People like 12 people are in the room with me. But then you obviously get the snorers as well, and you're like, oh my God.
Are you allowed like earplugs?
Yeah, I had mine in,
okay, because I didn't know whether, I think back in the day, they used to not allow them to have like eye masks and earplugs so that like the sleep exhaustion would get to them, and then they'd go a bit crazy.
Yeah, you allowed
like you
those.
said, obviously, if they're looking to have more of a wholesome experience, then they're not going to do stuff.
But I was scared because I had I had like the proper ones that go like that, but Marisha had like the foamy ones.
Yes.
And there was one night, and I kind of opened my eyes a little bit, and she's doing this to the cameras. Like, because obviously, like, you need to be like cameras, like because we're locked in the room basically, and there's the bathroom, that's all you have. She's like waving the camera, and I'm like, what's going on? And her earplug went in her ear, like went in, and she was panicking, obviously, like trying to get and then she went to the diary room, and they had to take it out of her.
Oh my God. Also, she got to see a human being.
Yeah, but they're like covered. They've got like their mask on, they've got like a hat on, they've got like a red light, and they're like they're not allowed to say a word to you.
That is crazy. crazy.
Which is mad.
I honestly cannot imagine. I got to go into the Big Brother house for the when it was the what they call it, the civilian season.
Oh yeah,
Is
the
that
one
what they
before,
call it?
yeah.
Like just before that happened, and the lights in there, it's so bright.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, did you not all just get massive headaches all the time?
I think a lot of the time we'd be in the garden, or the bathroom had good lighting. The bathroom was like nice and
where
like.
you did your podcast.
But yeah, when we did a podcast, it was more vibey in there.
Yeah.
But like, I remember like because I didn't have a eye mask, so I'd be asleep.
Oh, did you not?
No, I forgot
Rookie
I know.
mistake. Oh,
but there was one
gosh.
day that the retreat thing, and I got the scarf and put it around my head and like put it over,
Yes.
and I went to sleep, and then I woke up with these bright lights, and then Big Brother was like, "Please give back the scarves," and I was like, me and Zizi were like, "Are you kidding me?" But yeah, but it doesn't make you wake up, and it makes you get out of bed. And if you don't get out of bed, they start doing an air horn.
Really?
So you woken up and like Zizi would never get up, but Zizi would be like, God, not this again. Why am I still here? And then like she would be in bed, and then she would roll over and like shut her eyes for a little bit.
Oh my god!
It was always her and Nikita. They overstayed their bedtime, I think. But
That is wild. Who were you most starstruck by then when you got in?
Well, when Sharon and Louis walked in,
Wild.
It was a bit like, this is normal. It was just like, oh, hello. Like,
Yeah.
it was just like so normal. It was just like, this is so.
By this point, we're all here. We're in the Big Brother house. Like, you kind of expect a really famous person to be there.
Yeah,
don't you?
and I thought I had obviously like seeing the rumours and stuff. I thought, because obviously Sharon wasn't going to be there the whole time, I thought she was going to come like the second week. I didn't realise she was going to be there right from the beginning.
Yes, yeah.
But my initial starstruck moment, because obviously them two walked in later, was Fern. I remember watching Fern like on the TV with my nan when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I grew really close with her, and she was so lovely.
She genuinely was like one of my favourites in there, and it was so obvious that you did.
Yeah.
All that me and Andrew, my boyfriend, said when we were watching it, we'd see you two and we'd be like, that would be me in there. Like I would be constantly like wanting to be around Fern, or like, because she just seemed like she had such comfort vibes.
Yeah, she did.
Like, with her. Like, what was it in her that made you feel like that, do you think?
I think with Fern, obviously she has a big past in like interview and stuff like that, but you didn't feel like you get an interview, but she would ask questions that no one else would ask, type thing. Like she would not be scared to like say the wrong thing or go down that route type thing. But like that's why I think I grew close with her straight away, because I think it was when the launch and we all went upstairs because they went the balcony things open. Everyone just went in there because it was like, oh, new room type thing, and we all stood up there, and then she was talking about Heartstopper because I think her daughter was a fan of Heartstopper, and she started talking about like how I came out and stuff like that. And this was like, I've been in for like 30 minutes and she was already asking these questions, and it was like
the hard-hitting questions.
And from that moment it was like, oh, we had that bond. It was like a mother figure in there. Like I'd make her a cup of tea, she'd make me a cup of tea, and then I was locked away in jail with her, which was a really nice,
of course,
a nice moment with her.
Oh, she just did like emanate the best vibes.
She
like
did.
she really did. And someone else who did the same for me was David.
Yes, loved David.
Like I adored David, and when he won, it kind of installed my faith in humanity a little bit, because similar to what he said about himself, like he came in and Sharon and Louis voted him like whatever it was, like the worst first impression, something along those lines.
He was loud and stuff.
Exactly. And then I was instantly like, oh, like, because I'd seen him on Ibiza Weekender, and he's the most hilarious person in the literal world.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to see him in the house. And then when that happened, I was like, oh God, I hope that this isn't the running theme of like, oh, he's loud and he's gay, so like, shut up, get him out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
When he won, I was like,
this is
yes,
good. Yeah.
This is amazing. Like, what was your relationship like with him?
He was probably the closest person in the house with me.
Really?
I feel like, because I think obviously he always gets not misunderstood.
Mischaracterized.
Yeah, like people judge him before they know him. And I feel like that's why obviously Louis and Sharon voted him. But then you saw this person, and he's so vulnerable, and so kind, so loud, funny, but it's like all these things. And I think we had so many similarities, but also so many differences. And I think like day 3, we were like sat in the bathroom, obviously just chilling, us two. And then Louis was like, oh, how long have you known each other for? Like thinking we were friends before we came on the show. And it was just like, well, we spent 48 hours together. Like, but yeah, he's such a lovely person.
I think as humans, we see like the first thing about someone, and we almost categorize them as that is their entire deal. Like I've definitely done it before, where I've like been surprised by somebody that they're like a different sort of person. But I think that he embodies the idea of like number one, don't judge a book by its cover, but
No,
number
definitely.
two, like, just because you are one way doesn't mean that you can't be the other way.
Yeah.
Watching him be vulnerable or like open up, like he wasn't like, you know, sobbing
No,
or anything
yeah.
like that, but he was having very real conversations about
Yeah.
himself, about his experiences, and I think it was so refreshing. And I
definitely.
think that's why he won, to be honest. Because
Yeah, because he was just him, and part of me was scared, like, for him. I was like, obviously, let people edit the show, and I was like, he's obviously so funny, and so he makes everyone just feel happy.
Yeah.
But part of me was like, as I came out, I was like, I hope they haven't just edited it to show that's all he
just
is.
show him screaming and singing,
Yeah,
basically.
when he had so much more to him.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad people saw that as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, me too.
But yeah, he's such a lovely guy.
He
So
seems
nice.
like it, and he's from where I'm from as well. So
but-
big
but-
up, yeah. Well, I'm from a town called Darwin that is directly next to Bolton.
Oh
so
yeah, same.
I tell people I'm from Bolton because no one's ever heard where I'm from.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I absolutely adored him. What was it like with Sharon and Louis? I cannot even fathom
Yeah.
being around such like iconic people as them.
Yeah.
Like, was there any tea that they were spilling that you were?
much tea.
It was, honestly, it was like them two just did not realize this was being filmed.
No, Louis would always. I think there was one day, and Louis would like look at like me, Nikita Coulson, and David, and everyone would be like, "You know what's going on today, don't you?" And we're like, "No, we don't know anything. Like, we don't know." And I think he was convinced that everyone knew what was going on but him. And then he would be like, it was like quite late, and he was like, "God, it's late now." And then he would like say something. He was like, "They're not filming now, are they?" And I'd be like, "They're filming 24 hours." And they went, "Oh, they won't use that bit. They won't use that bit because I've said that." And I was like, "Louis, they will use it. Like they'll use
my
everything."
God.
And he thought Sharon's room didn't have a camera in it as well. I don't think so. None of us even knew where he
Shut
was,
up.
and he was just. I think they were just.
That is brilliant. Literally, but I remember it so vividly. Them two just on Sharon's bed, just being like, "Yeah, Simon's a bit of a wanker, isn't he?" Like literally, basically, that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then they were like, it was like talking about Sunita, which was then hilarious because
She came in, yeah.
Oh my God, watching them two just slag off like the most famous people in the world. I think one day I saw like on Twitter and it was like on one episode of Big Brother, Adele, Simon Cowell,
Ronan
Sunita,
Keating, wasn't it?
Ronan
Yeah.
Keating, like all of these people have just been bitched about
Yeah.
in like half an hour.
Oh my God.
So brilliant. But was there anything that like you took away from them? Because obviously
Yeah.
they're like older than we are. They kind of existed in the industry when it was a completely different industry, like, you know, like 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So was there anything that you directly took from them?
Yeah, I got quite close to Sharon in there quite early on, and she was saying these stories, and she had so much strength and so much resilience, and I think the amount of stuff she's been hit by, and she just overcome it, and
Yeah.
that was very inspiring. I think everyone felt that. I think that's why everyone warmed to her straight away because she was just like with Sharon, you're like she's big. Do you get me? She's massive.
Like one of the most famous people in the world.
Yeah, and you would think like she would walk in with this mask on.
Yeah.
But it was her, and it was just one of these like surreal moments. I walked in from the garden, she was just there washing up by herself. I'm like, what are you doing,
Yeah, she
Sharon?
was washing up all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
And it was just like, she just so down to earth. She was just so kind, and I think everyone wished she was there for the whole thing because
Yeah.
she was at the gel of the house as well. Because obviously there was like not the older group, but it was like obviously you had Sharon, Lauren, like Louis, Ekin-Su, Levi, and then I feel like she gelled like me, Kels, and like Mirror and all that together.
I think because she knew she was only there for a week.
Yeah.
And she had her own room. She had all
Yeah.
this. She basically got the like privilege of not having to let it all get to her because
Yeah.
she's like, I'm leaving in a few days.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
So I think in a way we got like a very light-hearted and just lovely Sharon Osborne.
And
Which
she just doesn't care.
no, exactly. She literally didn't care. Like you could so see even her daughter Kelly
Yeah.
was like putting posts on social media and stuff while she was in there, and she was saying like it's so funny for me watching like my mum in there because I know she like can never remember anyone's name.
Me.
That kid, Bradley, I was like literally crying with laughter because I thought she just couldn't remember his
Remember his
name
name?
just then. She'd said your name multiple times throughout the show,
Yeah.
but in that moment she just gone.
And then after that, she said my name about 20 times
Yeah,
in one
yeah,
sentence.
yeah.
So she was like,
Yeah, she was
Bradley,
like letting
Bradley,
you know
Bradley,
that she
Bradley,
knows
Bradley,
your
Bradley.
name, yeah.
And then she was like, but you're my baby boy, really. And I was like, Sharon, you definitely forgot my name.
Oh, it's so. Did you say that to her in the moment?
No, because I didn't deep because it was like,
Yeah, of course.
because it was like Shazza, baby boy, and in my head I was like, she definitely doesn't know. And then straight after that, she kept calling me Bradley. And I was like, oh no, she definitely did remember.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, by the way, guys, there's this clip like from the show where you were dancing with her.
Yeah.
First of all, iconic. You're literally lifting
her.
Sharon Osborne
like
up.
this.
She's like, what is life? Like, I was thinking, like, what must Bradley be thinking right now? This is so mental.
It felt so normal.
Yeah. And then you put her down and then you're like, Shazza. And she goes, baby boy.
But the silence and the break before it, I didn't realize how long it was. It was like, that was a good 10 seconds.
So funny. And then there was another highlight that I kind of noticed. I don't know. This is kind of speculation on my end.
Yeah.
When she left and she had to give the names of like, was it 3 people that like she'd enjoyed or like that had changed her mind or something?
Yeah.
along those
Oh
lines.
yeah. Like made an impact. Yeah.
I was like, she took so long to do that. I was like, she can't remember anyone's name.
She looked around and she just went, oh, I know him. Yes.
Yeah. She was like, well, I can't say Lulu, can I? And then like Nikita was like, oh, okay.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
But you could tell in that moment she was like, fuck. Whose name can I actually
But it was so
remember
because
right now?
straight after she did her exit interview and she was like, the person she bonded with the most, she said me. And I was like, she couldn't remember my name, maybe.
I was expecting, I was like, oh, this is going to be so cute. She's obviously about to say Bradley. Like, that would make the most sense. And then, yeah, she just, but you could tell maybe it's just a thing of like when you're on the spot.
Yeah.
She just like forgot. But I mean, Kelly literally said that she does that all the time, but it was so
funny.
So hysterical to me. So obviously what was I going to say? Apart from David, who else did you feel? I mean, from an outsider's perspective, it looked like you really gelled with Nikita as well.
Yeah, so I think Nikita Coulson, we had like we just gelled straight away. I think I've never really had like lad mates before, so it was like a weird thing, but they were just so accepting, so open, and they're so fun to be around as well. And I think that's why we gelled straight away. And we just did everything together really when we were in there.
Honestly, that clip of you 3, I think it's you, David and Nikita.
Yeah.
Where like you and David are dancing, and then Nikita walks in and he goes, what's he say? He says something like,
oh yeah.
I just heard you bitches.
Yeah,
or something.
It was straight after. So David just survived the public eviction, and I went, David. And I went in the store and was like, do you want to drink anything? And then I turned around when the door was shut and I went, you're still here, because I didn't want to do it in front of people because obviously people were just gone. And then we started jumping, and then Nikita was coming in for a drink, and he went, I heard you bitches. And then we went, and then we all jumped together. So funny.
I'm so glad that you got like that experience where like you made genuine friendships, you had a really good time, and it showed so much, like it really did. I mean, there wasn't really that much like overwhelming beef that was happening.
No, there's not much.
And anything that was, I mean, obviously they edit it to like show those parts, so
and
like,
make it look so dramatic.
Yeah, so like Zizi and Louis are sat there like in the like royalty thrones, and they're just, Zizi's just like, it's obvious for me anyway watching it that she's just basically being like, Louis, I know you're full of shit, like I'm not even indulging you right now.
We were watching it though up there, and it was just so funny. It just was like deep down they do like each other, but they just have this bicker, and it's so funny to watch.
I think it was actually really refreshing watching Zizi, because especially at the beginning, I feel like a lot of like the housemates were kind of giving Louis a pass because, you know, on one side, he's one of the most famous people like in the world. Yeah. And he's like significantly older than most of you there. Sharon's got like her own space. So like it must have been a hard experience for him. So I think it was quite nice of a lot of you to like, you know, give him, but then I think he took that and flew with it.
He like put his legs up and he wouldn't lift a finger or anything.
So then watching Zizi be like, actually, you do nothing. And it's really annoying. It was really great. I loved it.
And then he was like, you're always going to come for me, you guys.
Yeah. One like episode that stands out as like a moment when it shifted, and tell me if I'm wrong, from like was when you did the face-to-face nominations.
Yeah.
Did that kind of make it real for you all?
Yeah, because also we were having fun in the fun fair. Marisha just got Olivia nominated, and we were just like, we were all screaming, so excited, and we all got these teddies, and then Big Brother was like, now come through to the kiss booth, and we're like, this could be face to face. It was like later in the series, so we're like, it's gonna be face to face. We've got to do it once, type thing.
That must be so nerve-wracking.
It was, because I was first as well.
Oh my god, you were, weren't you? I would genuinely be terrified.
Yeah, and it was like this whole day, like we knew we were gonna nominate this day, but like a lot of the time with that show, because everyone got along quite well, you got to be petty, like you got to say some stupid things. Like I think I nominated Marisha for the last time for like cooking too much and weren't helping out too much. Like you just got to be like, what is life
what
right
else are
now?
you gonna say?
Louis had an immunity, so he couldn't vote for him. So and it was like the kissing move, and it was like when they said Bradley first, I was just like, oh my god. And I was like. And the first obviously said Louis really easily. I was like, Louis, you don't clean, because it's like I loved him to bits. I thought he was so funny and an amazing person to be in the house.
You also know it also seemed like he just took it on the chin out of everyone. Like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, he would go, yeah, okay, and then randomly, like later in the day, he would just be like, "You're all voting for me, bring it on." And it was when he got the snake. You know when he got the luck.
Yeah,
of
when
the Irish,
Fern put the
he
snake
came in.
in.
He was like, "One of you put this in," and he started going, "They're going to save me. They love me. The Irish love me." And we were all like, oh my God. And there's a clip that I got sent, and it was me and Nikita were singing songs together. And then Nikita goes, "Louis, what is your role?" And he goes, and his voice cracks. He goes, "I'm in the final." Yeah. And he goes, "But you're not." and then he goes, "But I am." And then Nikita's like, "What a fucking asshole." So fun. And then, yeah, he like, some days he like hated being there. He was like, "I want to go home. I'm ready to go home." Next days he's like, "They saved me. They love me. they obviously love me." But the face to face, it was. So I nominated Louis, and then I just didn't know for my second one. I was like, I don't really know. And then in my head,
what's your second one?
Ekin-Su. So for my second one, I had to think like, who knows me the best? And you got like who do I know the best? And it was like. With Levi, like, I don't know, obviously got Sharon seen it, but with Levi, me and Levi, like, he was always asking these questions about me, and I knew Levi very well. Zizi, Marisha, Cole, and then obviously the boys, and then Fern, and it was only her, and I felt
Process
so
of
bad.
elimination.
Yeah,
and
I felt so bad to say her, because I was, like, nervous of how she would react, or, like, because I did get along with her. We had so many good conversations, but they weren't like the other conversations. So
and it's such a difficult position to be in, and that is why the game is so good, because nobody wants to do that, especially that far in. How well do you even know these people?
No, yeah.
And then you've got to be like, I don't want to live with you.
Yeah.
But I do, but I can't say that, because then it's like against what this whole entire thing is about. Crazy.
It was in the diary room. They were the worst, because it was like on the first week when I had no idea who to vote for, and I voted for Lauren, and me and Lauren got like along very, very well. And like I'd say, oh, maybe with Lauren, we don't have many conversations. A lot of it is on like a jokey basis.
Yeah.
It's not like, I don't really know who she is.
Not had any deep chats.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what her family's like. I don't know anything about her really. But I love being around. She was iconic. She was so fun to be around.
Honestly, I thought she was hilarious.
No, so funny.
Watching her, iconic is the word.
Yeah.
Like, everything that she did. When her and Louis wrote that letter, I could
Gone.
not believe how long they were there for as well.
2 hours as well. And they came, and they had like 30 pieces of paper, and they came in with one. And this is quite funny as well. Levi after was like, they kept asking me how to spell this word as well, and they didn't even use it. They literally went, it was totally banter, and that was it. Full stop. So funny.
So brilliant. Oh my gosh. So nominations is where it kind of, I mean, the first nominations is where it kind of like took a turn, and everyone kind of was like, fuck, this is real now.
Yeah.
And like, speaking of Ekin-Su, that's when it kind of started to happen between her and Marisha.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I've had beef with Ekin-Su before, but now we stan. We made up.
Yeah.
Me and Ekin. Hi Ekin. How you doing? We made up, and I was very excited to see her in the house, because I've only ever watched 2 seasons of Love Island. One was the one that Chloe Burrows was on, and then the next one was the one that Ekin-Su won. Yeah. And she was so... Do you watch Love Island?
I remember... I watched it, but I can't really remember what it was like.
Well, she was so iconic. Like, I can't even put into words how, like, compelling she was to watch, and how much you rooted for her. Yeah. And just, like, she would just go in, and it was all about her. Like, suddenly, like, all the cameras were, like, pointing at her, and she just did it so flawlessly, and it was so brilliant. And then she was on Traitors.
Oh yeah, the US version.
Yeah, Love, which was like the most iconic thing ever.
Have you watched that?
I've watched like bits of it, because it was on in around the same time that the UK one was.
Oh, okay.
And then I saw a spoiler that like Ekin-Su like got taken out of it like halfway through or something, and I was like, fuming. Yeah. But I'm still gonna watch it. I've not watched it all. I watched like the first couple of episodes, but like amazing. So then, but I think things kind of like went not necessarily wrong for her, but where it was kind of interpreted by the public differently, was that she'd been on game shows before where it's like normal to talk about like the game that you're in. Like on Traitors, everyone is like,
that's a game.
It's a game. Love Island, who you're coupling up with. What do you think? This is gonna happen?
And that's the game.
And then it was like she was in like Celebrity Big Brother, where that doesn't benefit you. It almost makes you look like you're constantly thinking about it,
Yeah.
even though I don't think she was, like, from watching her, I don't think that she was in there like, this is my plan, and like, oh my gosh, and this is gonna happen. But like, when have you seen like her like exit interview or anything like that?
No, I haven't watched anything.
It was some of like the most uncomfortable television that I've ever watched, because they were like, I don't know, AJ was kind of like, and again, people were then attacking like AJ and Will, saying that like they were too harsh on her, but on their side, they kind of have to reflect what the public are thinking and ask those questions. And Ekin in that moment felt as though like the show hadn't portrayed her accurately and said it. And then AJ was like, well, you've not even watched it. Like, what are you on about?
Yeah.
So it was just the most uncomfortable thing. And I was like, oh my God, like, I wish that this wasn't happening, because I could tell from her point of view, and from probably most of your guys' point of view, you wouldn't be picking up on those like weird like conversations or something like that, because it's not that deep when you're in there.
No, yeah, definitely
But
not.
things are portrayed, obviously you film for 24 hours, they show like an hour of it.
Yeah.
Everything that is shown is heightened so much.
Yeah.
Like, so what was your experience with her in the house?
So we got along really well. I loved being around. I thought she was funny, and we'd have these weird conversations. Like we'd pretend to be seals on the floor, which is like really weird. But we
You pretend to be seals.
seals on the floor. Like it was a weird thing. But like, our relationship was just on a very weird basis.
Yeah.
It was like we were just there
Joking.
to have fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
jokey basis.
Like lighthearted.
Banter. Like, yeah, that vibe.
It was totally banter.
And it was just like, it was just that vibe. It was just like laughs. But I think where I think obviously where people have misunderstood her as such, I feel like she obviously gravitated quite soon on with Louis and Sharon and stuff like that. And maybe because you only see an hour in 24 hours a day, maybe you saw her then come towards us very quickly when they were getting
Louis got booed.
or like when Lauren started going, like stuff like that. And I understand that point of view watching that. But when you're in there, you don't see every little conversation you have. Like, you wake up, you put a coffee on, you have a little conversation with Ekin-Su. We talk about how was your sleep, But like that's not going to be shown because it's boring. But you have like all these little conversations. But I think obviously where that's been portrayed is that she obviously gravitated towards us.
She was only speaking to Louis and Sharon, and then she was only speaking to you because they got boozed. When in reality, she'd been having conversations with you guys, but they just weren't
before.
And as they didn't carry as much weight as her asking like Sharon and Louis about Simon Cowell.
Yeah,
naturally,
definitely,
of course.
But I feel like it was like, I think for her as well, I don't think it was a bad or ill intention with her. I think it was just a human reaction to be like, I want to, like, maybe in her head she was like, I want to be, and maybe she just did it naturally, that she was like, oh no, maybe I need to speak to these people more so then I can stay here longer. Like, it might have been a natural thing.
Of course.
But yeah, we all, like, with her, like, I made like better connections with other people, but I got along with her really well, and I really enjoyed her company.
No, that's great. And I think that's like clear. I've not seen any of you really be like, this person is the worst, like about any of you. So like you said, the editors kind of have a job to make it as dramatic as possible. And that's kind of the risk that you take when you sign up to do something like Big Brother, isn't it? It's not a set out game. You can't tell like how it's going to go.
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty much a huge gamble. And even with, you know, ITV obviously picking a more like wholesome route in like not making everyone literally tear each other's eyes apart like every 2 seconds, they still need that drama. And like, unfortunately for Ekin-Su, that she was the drama. Am I the drama?
And when you're in there, you have no idea.
Yeah, of course.
We just thought she was just talking to them, and we had our little group, and we were just having jokes. And then she would sometimes speak to us, sometimes go there, and it was just. But we would do the same. We would sometimes go to Louis and speak to Louis. But I think maybe hers obviously just got. Maybe we're all just a bit oblivious.
It's weird because like it's almost like the things that she got praised for in Love Island were the things that people didn't like her in Celebrity Big Brother. Like, she's a very, I mean, I've spoken to her, and my interaction with her in person was like, she's a very like commands a presence, and she's not like, she can be quite like serious, or like if she's having a serious moment, she like looks into your eyes and it's very like heartfelt on her end. But like, I think that on Love Island worked so well because everyone was like, oh my God, this is so iconic. Like, she's about to pull that person for a chat and like chat with them. Whereas in Big Brother, people were like, she's putting it on, she's acting, but you can't act for 24 hours in a day.
No.
Like, you'd go insane. So
No, definitely.
No, I'm glad that because that's what I gathered from like seeing interviews and things like that from like other people. But I'm glad that you kind of like clarified that.
And I think obviously like with the face to face, she was just hurt. It obviously it just stabbed something. Like,
As you would be. I can't imagine if I was in a house locked in, knowing that there's cameras on me, that millions of people are watching, and like 5 people then say that they don't want me to be in the house anymore, I would be distraught.
It's quite deep.
I would end up sobbing. Oh my God.
No, because she was crying in the bathroom and I went to comfort her, but in my head I was like, I just voted for her. I can't comfort her. Then I was comforting her, and then I made a joke going, this might look two-faced, me comforting you right now, I just voted for you. And then we laughed, and it was like, because at the end of the day, like, some things will hurt and some things like are difficult.
If you were like, I'm voting for you because I think you're a bitch, and I hate this and hate this, then fair. But like,
100%.
I think it's good that you all kind of had this camaraderie of like, right, guys, we all have to vote.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll all vote for Louis because that makes sense.
Until he got immunity on the last one.
That is wild.
And I was literally looking around because, like, in my head, I was like, okay, definitely Louis, second person, no idea. And that's why that's when I went in and I was like, Zizi Marish. Like, I literally had to make 2 people. And and I said it so many times, they definitely thought I was definitely voting for them because I stood up, I was like, and we all were like, guys, this is not personal. Like, if we watch this back, you know what it's like in that Big Brother room. Because you say one thing and they're like, how does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Dig deeper. And you're like, she's a bitch. And you're like, that's not what you went in to say. You literally went in to say that she's a bit too loud or like too like quiet or I don't know, different things.
Yeah, but they have to pry it out of you, don't they?
Yeah.
It's crazy. What was your most difficult time in the house?
My most difficult time in the house? Oh, it wasn't the most difficult time in the house, but it was in like day 4 when we did the retreat and we all had to like open up, and there was this big thing and everyone was just like just opening their hearts, and it was like, okay, I wanted to get to know people, but not this quickly. Like, it was like 3 days in and I don't think I even had a conversation with like Levi or like I didn't speak to anyone really at this point.
Intense.
It was very like drew close with Zizi, Marisha, David, Colson, Nikki. Like, it was that vibe that no one else really knew me type of thing. So when the music, and then it was like, done, Bradley, what's your biggest regret? And I just started bawling my eyes out, and it was, and then that was the hardest because in my head I was like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Like, I shouldn't open up this quickly. But then part of me is like, I should keep opening up.
Definitely, because whilst literally what you said when you were when they first approached you to go on the show, like. And also everything that you said about, like, you know, you writing your book, you being on Heartstopper, everything. These are all like really important things, and you've got this stage basically, like one of the biggest stages that you can get to like be vulnerable and help other people. So no, I'm really proud of you for doing that, because again, I can't imagine how, like, I would have just been like, someone said I had a bob in school. I don't know what I would have done, but no, kudos to you.
I went straight after Marisha, and Marisha was just, she was there, and I was like, then everyone was, and then Zizi was crying next to me because like, Marisha was talking about being like a black woman in the industry and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, she's there, and I was like, oh no, I'm there, and then Louis went, Bradley, what's your biggest regret? And I went, oh no, I'm here.
And then you're just like sobbing.
Gone.
God, and what was your most enjoyable moment in the house? Do you know?
I think the most I love the boy band task. That was fun.
Was incredible television.
So fun.
Watching Colson like overcome his like, and again, this is what Big Brother is all about. Like, it's, even though it's celebrity Big Brother and a lot of you are like more confident than the average person, like, he's an actor, and even he, like, watching him overcome like his nerves or insecurities,
wasn't it?
It was literally so like inspiring to see like raw human emotion in that way, and then watching you all just sing was, David had me howling.
So impossible. He was just
so brilliant.
And I didn't realise, because the first thing when I saw my parents was like, what's your favourite bit? And they're like, oh, it's the boy band bit when Lauren's trying to do the lip trills and she's going and then it pans to me, and I'm like, everyone's just like, come on Lauren, you can do it, and I'm just wheezing. I'm gone, because she's just like, look, and then she starts spitting because she can't move her lips, and I was like, that is, and then that moment I was like, Lauren, I may vote for you, but never leave. Please, never leave.
She is just one of the most iconic people that has ever lived.
She is so funny.
I've never watched I love the Real Housewives, but I've never watched the Cheshire one.
I watched one last night, and it was quite funny. I just needed to see. I was like,
I'm gonna watch it.
But she's like she's the funny one. Like, she's hilarious.
Oh my God. And when it came time for you to leave, that was literally, I was, first of all, sobbing. I was actually on my way here to film the podcast, and I had it playing like on like my car. I can connect my phone and then it comes out the speakers, so I could hear everything that was going on whilst I was driving, but I couldn't, and I was still sobbing, like David's best friend, and then like Colson's mum coming, and oh my God, Nikita's girl. I was genuinely sobbing. Fern had me sobbing, and then
all she cared about was the cats.
Literally. I was uncontrollably crying, got here and I was a mess. And then I didn't see your bit. And then I finished like filming here.
Yeah.
Got back in my car, sat down for 10 minutes because I wanted to watch it. I was gagged.
Yeah.
What did you feel like in that moment?
It was weird because that morning, me and Dave were in the garden, and me and Dave, I think he said it or I said it. It was like, there's not going to be 6 of us on a Friday, and today's the last day to someone get evicted because obviously it goes out the next day as the next day. Obviously it's not going to be live eviction because it's not live type thing. And then I was like, yeah, there's going to be an eviction today. Like we feel it. And then as the day went on, then the thing started at like 7 p.m. And then I was the last one. I turned to David and I went, I'm either going to get evicted or I'm going to see a loved one. And he went, haha. And that's why his reaction, I think, went, no, because he knew what was going on. And then when AJ first walked around the corner, I was like, I met AJ like a couple times before the show, and I was like, is she my friend? Like, was no one else available? I was a bit like, was no one else available? I mean, like, you could have literally got my neighbour. Like, I know my neighbour better than AJ. And it was like, oh, and then
That's so funny.
And then the lights went red, and I just was like, oh no, we know what this happened. And I just felt, I think because I got so far, like it was literally basically like the day before the finals, semi-finals as you say, and I had such a positive, fun time, and it was like, I was just very grateful, and that's why I was just like, oh yeah, that's amazing. You
didn't really miss anything.
No, yeah, and it was just, and I think it was my time to go. It was my time. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm not ready to go because you're going. Like as much as you cry, you're going through the fire exit door. Do you get what I mean?
And I think in a way, I mean, some people are like, Bradley got like the most brutal eviction, but in a way, I'm like, isn't it way more brutal to have like to be sat there like, are people gonna boo me or are they gonna cheer me? And then you've got to go out to a crowd. Like, would you have preferred the way that you went out or a real like normal eviction?
The way I went out, I think.
Really?
Because also, the only thing, so it was going from she was like, your 7th person get evicted, and she was getting told, and I went, can I have a hug? And it was getting told in there, don't hug him. This needs to be like brutal. It needs to be like traitors, Claudia Winkleman like coming in, and then she just went like hug me, and then she was back up. But I think they aired that. And then when I said, she said I was getting evicted, in my head I was like, she better let me go back in and say goodbye because
oh my god,
because this door, the door of the rendezvous is next to the diary room door where they were telling me to leave, so I could have just gone straight away type thing, and I was like, no, I can't do that.
That's getting me emotional thinking about it.
No, imagine that. Then them all just think, and then
they just see you later.
And then I went in and then said goodbyes, and all of they were all crying, angry. Some of them, Nikita was so angry. He was like, they can't do that. I went, mate, the contract said yes, they can.
They can do whatever the fuck they want.
They can do what they want. It's Big Brother. And then I left through obviously I think I was meant to leave through the main door and then walk out onto the stage where no one was going to be there. But the door wasn't opening. And so I was only meant to have a minute to say goodbyes. And we were stood there and I went, bye-bye, I love you. Door wasn't opening. I turned back, I went, maybe they don't want me to leave something. And then we were stood there and we were all stood there for a good like 5 minutes, like saying bye. And then like, they just can't be happening. I was like, well, it is happening.
Yeah.
And then they asked me to go through the diary room door. But AJ said yesterday, AJ's mum was like, I was one of her favourites to win. And AJ's mum didn't speak to her for 5 days. She was like, AJ, how dare you like do that to him? She was like, it was my day, I had to do it. Yeah. And then she was like, and then AJ was like, I should have just got Will to do it or something. But yeah, because then she had to do late and light. I didn't realise this till after. But she wore the same outfit, obviously, like, because this was at like 9:30 p.m. or something. She walked in, said that. She also was a bit like, oh my God, that was so harsh. Yeah. And then she had to go straight onto Late and Live and be like, hello everyone, welcome to Late and Live. Let's watch yesterday's episode. And then watch me on yesterday's episode. But yeah, crazy. she felt awful, but it's part of the plot, isn't it?
Yeah. Jeez. So when someone leaves and you're in there, how does it feel? Does it feel like, oh my God, they're like dead? They're like what are the emotions?
Some people obviously have more impact than others while you're in there because it's like people go, like a lot of the time. But we're always surprised who went because it was like you never know who's gonna go. Like
I was shocked Lauren went so soon.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I thought she was such a big character.
It was her against Louis. So
it was. It was
one of the because when she was in the first one with Gary, it was like she may stay, she may not. You don't know what's happening out there, but more likely to stay. And then when it was her and Louis, it was a bit like. Okay, this is, and then when Louis then got booed, but then stayed, it was like, God, Islander keeping him in. They're keeping him in. But Lauren was one of the biggest, I think, as a house, one of the biggest impacts of the house because it was like she had this different energy. She had this chaotic energy, but we all learned to love it type thing. And it was because I think with hers was a Friday, and then there was an eviction till Tuesday, which is obviously doesn't sound that long, but like 4 days is quite a long time without Lauren because
Yeah.
she's so fun. And then on the Tuesday, that's when Ekin-Su and Levi went. And then after that moment, it was like, oh my God. But then 4 days, everyone just kept speaking about Lauren. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
I miss her energy. Like, we need...
I think that's why they brought her back for the
Oh my God,
the judge episode.
No one could have done it like her. No one could have done it like her.
So brilliant.
Is when she said Judge Simon, and we went, and Louis' face went, not
Yeah.
Simon Cowell, please. He's like, hopefully that didn't get aired. And then she walks in and we're like, no, if there was anyone else, they wouldn't have done it like
Yeah.
her.
Oh, she's so iconic. She
But
really is.
she there's a bit of tea. She got told, so she basically, obviously, it was quite, but she got told that Marisha broke a rule before, broke a rule in the house before Lauren went in. She was like, so they're like, maybe that could determine what you think.
Okay.
And she was saying that because on her book, because when I was in the
Yes.
jury, it's not jury,
the
but-
defense or
yeah,
whatever, yeah.
I looked over and she had like 3 bullet points for each person, and it was so funny because people were saying like, for David, people like Fern was saying all these points, and then she just ignored all those points, and she would just say, "You are loud, you're annoying." And then it was like with me, she was saying like, Marisha said all these points, but she had them all written down if they were going to be yes or no already. And then she just read, "I slept next to you. That takes courage." And I was like, she said nothing about that. But she's so funny. And yeah, it was her birthday at the rap party as well.
Really?
Yeah, so she had the best time.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I adore her. I
No,
think
I
that
do.
she's so iconic, and I'm so glad. Because, yeah, like watching it, it seemed like people were more so annoyed with her than like that. But I get, like, that's just one conversation versus like the probably hundreds of times that you were like laughing with her or laughing at
Oh my
her
God,
even
yeah.
or like whatever. Like, so, I'm so glad that you think she's iconic.
Oh
as
no,
well.
I think everyone loved her as well, but everyone
Yeah.
loved her like in the way of like, it's Lauren. Like, you've
Yeah.
got to love her.
Yeah.
Like, she runs one of the best things. Hopefully she doesn't mind me saying this. But one of the best stories of her. We're cleaning the toilets together, and she's like, "Oh God!" And her boob comes out a bit, and then she just goes, "Fuck it," and she starts doing that. And I went, there's a camera person behind there, and she went, "Hopefully they're fit." And that was like day one, and I went, "I love you.
Oh my God.
You're my best friend."
That is absolutely iconic. I think that she's brilliant.
Oh my
And
God,
I'm
yeah.
so glad that you agree. Oh my gosh. So I want to play a little game where I'm just going to read out like different people's names from
Yeah.
the house.
Okay.
And you have to say the first word that pops to your
Oh
mind.
God, here we go. Okay, yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Colson.
Joy.
Oh, I like that. I agree.
Joy, yeah. Cousin Joy.
Sharon.
Not boring. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
yeah,
Oh, bless
not
him.
boring.
No, cousin, you're not boring.
Not boring.
He,
You are very lovely and very fun.
it was after that, and he was just like, well, of course I'm going to be boring stood next to you every day. It was like, that's a nice compliment. I
Oh,
like that.
bless
No, I
him.
love him to bits.
Nikita.
Sass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I feel like he's quite sass. I think he's maybe sassy.
Yeah.
But sass, yeah.
Sharon.
Funny.
Okay.
I think funny. I think, yeah. I was going to say Joy again. I don't know why Joy's in my head. But apparently they didn't air her best moment.
Oh, really?
So
What was
basically,
her
when
best moment?
Lauren and Louis got broke a rule, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So it went, there's been a rule break. Everyone went, and I like gagged. I don't know why I gagged so much. I was
Yeah.
like, and then it was like it with Louis, and there was a long pause because he was trying to like make it dramatic. Louis, and she started doing this, thinking it was her, and then she went, "Smack my bottom," so loudly, and all of us were like, "That's gonna be a me." Like it was so iconic because she went under her jacket. She started doing this because it went Louis, and she was like, oh, "Of course it's gonna be me."
Yeah.
So then she went, "Smack my bottom, big brother," and everyone was like gagged, like laughing, and then they had to go back and go Louis and Lauren, and then Sharon just went, "That's embarrassing." Like she literally went, put her head down, and then she started going, "Shame on you, Louis! Shame on you!" She was running around going, "Shame, Louis!" Each time you go past Louis, shame him. So each time we went past, shame, shame,
That's such a good impression as well.
shame, smack my bottom. No, she's so funny.
Oh, my favorite moment possibly of the like entire show was when like there'd been another rule breaking. I think it was the second one.
Oh my God!
And
yeah.
then Louis going like, "Well, who is it? I hope that they get in trouble. Like, this is disgusting. Like, you all know the rules by this point.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you?" And then they go, "Louis," and he goes,
Yeah, he was like, oh no, he was like, name and shame,
Yes,
shame.
yes.
And then he gets Louis, and he's like, and then it goes Marisha goes, what?
"She barely even did anything.
No,
she
said
did
it
not
as a
deserve
joke.
that." Yeah.
And then Louis did 2 though, and Louis like, name and shame, name and shame. He's so funny though.
So iconic, so iconic. Right, next, Marisha.
Talented. Yeah.
She is, and I feel like, was she like singing in the house a lot?
Oh, all the time, but obviously with
they barely
commercial,
even
yeah,
showed.
commercial.
Oh yes, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah, because
right.
we were playing Truth or Dare one night, and she had to sing. It was so random. She had to sing the what's the American national anthem called? Is it called?
Oh, say can you
Yeah,
see?
and she'd do that while running up and down the stairs doing a workout, and it was very good. But and she was just like, da, 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 and then but they didn't show it. Obviously,
Yeah,
they
of
didn't
course, yeah.
have the rights.
Next, David.
Icon.
That's
Yeah.
such a good one. That is such a good one. Louis.
Loud. No, like not in loud that he's loud, but he
Loud
would
energy.
say he would be like, "You're being too loud. You're being too loud."
Okay.
And then he put me and David on a singing ban. He was like, "You can't sing for the rest of the day. Is that okay?" And we're like, "Okay." And then he goes, "But she can." Points at Marisha, saying she can sing. Marisha would start singing, then Louis would sing along, and then we'd be like, "Louis, you can't sing. You're not allowed to sing along." But he was one of those people that. Is a love-hate relationship. Like he you could see he actually enjoyed his time and he did love everyone in there, but he just thought, what the hell am I doing?
I think you could really, especially towards the end, you started to see that he really had a fondness for, like, especially like you, David. I think even though he was constantly like throwing jabs at David, like any point that he could, I think that he really did start to like.
He did like him. I think he could. I think he was throwing them jabs because he felt like maybe he could type thing.
Yeah.
Like David would literally be like, don't care what he thinks.
Of course,
type thing.
And I think it really, like, especially towards the end, it was really heartwarming getting to see him like open up to all. It was lovely.
Because everyone was like, he's those villain. I was like, oh, but we spent 24 hours a day with him, and you got to think of him like, said this before, it's like he's a granddad at Christmas. We're all the annoying cousins performing for him.
Grumpy old man.
Some days he likes it, and some days he's like, I'm done. He's like, I'm gamed out. And then it was somebody. He said, I'm gamed out one day, and we were like, you just quoted Gemma Collins. He was like, Gemma Collins, the Gemma Collins. I was like, yes, Lou, you quoted her. But yeah, he was funny. He's funny.
He's so iconic. Fern.
Loving.
Yeah. I get that vibe, and that's why I was like, I mean, I think that the public who are like in those crowds, like, I would get a bit annoyed because I would be like, the boos that they are giving isn't necessarily reflective of like everyone watching the show.
Yeah.
And like sometimes Fern would get booed, and I'd be like,
she got booed quite a lot in the last
and I'd
couple
be
of
like,
weeks,
what? Like, she had one issue where it was a bit weird with Nikita, that thing. But even then, I think it was first of all obvious that she'd had a bit to drink. She was like 2 glasses of wine in. And it was at the point where you would start to unravel. And the fact that she brought up something from like 3 days earlier that like was literally a nothing thing.
And obviously none of us saw what happened 3 days.
Of
So we're
course.
all like,
yeah,
let's just stop this.
It was so random. But I think it was obvious that she was just having a bit of like a moment.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they cleared it up between them two really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
But then it's like the public are like, boo. And I'm
yeah.
like, that is not enough If she was stood in front of you and she did that, would you be like, boo, you are the worst?
It was like, no, but every single person who got booed in the house when they left. Wow! Yeah. It was like, but then I also think sometimes the boos were maybe if Fern was, say if it was Fern and David, both of them are up for eviction, they might boo her because they want David to stay.
Because they like David more.
But it's not booing because she's a bad person.
Yes.
That's what I started getting.
I would just
head.
see it as like panto, like
God, yeah.
like in this episode, whatever's just been shown, like for whatever reason they're like boo. Whereas next episode they could be like woo,
woo, yeah.
So
and I think because Fern got along with me and David Coulson so well, and obviously she felt this weird thing with Nikita. I think maybe we were all there having a discussion, all the us boys and her. So maybe she just said it. Do you know what I mean?
said it.
I mean, it was very, very
Random.
moment. Yeah. But
it was obvious that she'd had a drink. she was like, maybe stripes are in, And we were. It did say,
like,
you were all like
26th brain. Okay.
Every single one, you lot looking at each other, being like, what the fuck
what's
is
going on? Yeah.
And her just being like,
yeah.
Me and my boyfriend love her facial expressions.
She's so funny.
She is so expressive in everything. She's like, and she'd be like, or like,
and when I got evicted,
obsessed.
I saw a video of her sprinting to the dining room door. I went, no point sprinting. I'm about to walk up, but she goes, no. And she sprints to the dining room door, and I'm like, she's so kind though. She's so lovely.
She seems like the most like warm person. That's a word from watching it. I would describe her as warm. That's what I would do.
I think that's when I can't remember. Someone said it in the house. It was like maybe she's getting too nice, but I think because she's so nice, maybe that could come across fake in a way. But
I think people just want to have a baddie or like a villain.
But I
loved
her.
And like after a while, like Louis was such an obvious villain for just like being outwardly rude to random times that it was kind of like we need something else to go. So that's when Ekin-Su happened, and that's when people were like, actually Fern is our new villain. Like one thing that I've not spoken about, which is one of the most iconic moments, is literally on that first evening, Lauren goes, I don't know, have you watched any of it back?
I haven't watched anything back. I've watched like little bits, like like where they post.
Yeah. But there's one moment where Lauren sits on because it's the one double bed. like full-size double bed.
Yes.
Lauren sits on it, and Louis just walks over and he goes, "No, you get up. I'm
Oh,
sitting
I
there.
have
Get
seen
up
this,
now."
I've seen
And
this.
Lauren's there like, "Oh."
I'll sleep, yeah.
So entertaining, but so bizarre. And I think that was where it was like, right, this is going to be a good show.
Yeah.
Like,
No, because I think with that, I think it might have been in his contract that he needed the double bed.
Oh,
I think so.
really?
Because after that, he was like, up, and then he started laughing about it. So I think in his contract, he might have actually had that entitled to that.
Sense. That makes sense.
Because realistically, if we all found a bed and then Big Brother would be like, can you come to the diary room? But to be fair, if Louis Walsh is coming to you going, get up,
Yeah,
you're going to
I'd
get
be
up and
like,
move.
"Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
you
yeah."
can move. And then obviously Gary and Colson on the other end.
Yeah.
Because I was either in the toilet or I was in the diary room when Big Brother went, the bedroom's open and everyone's finding their things. And then Colson looked around and realised I wasn't in the room and was like, oh, there's one more bed. Oh, someone's got to share a double bed. And then I walked in and was like, oh, is there a bed? What bed's mine? And he was like, oh, well, there's a double bed at the end, but I'm not letting you share with like the youngest person in the house sharing one of the oldest people in the house. He was like, I'm not going to let that happen. But then I'm also like, Colson, you're 25. You're not one of the, like, you're still quite young. But he had to do it. And then he did it for 5 days and he conquered it.
When Gary fell out of bed.
So funny.
So funny and so bizarre.
I haven't seen the clip back, but he was telling us the next day.
So bizarre. Gary,
dad joke.
Dad
That
joke.
was 2 words,
Okay.
but the amount of dad jokes he would do, you're like,
Yeah, I mean, it came. I thought it was out of everyone. I was like, from a viewer, I was kind of like, what is his plan here? Because like, I don't know if it's the best to go in off the back of like having a famous family and like they're involved in like a current scandal, and then like what you're gonna come in and what not speak about it, but do nothing but speak about
Yeah.
it. It just kind of rubbed me up the wrong way in that like you all were there for like to show either like your skills or like to just promote yourself, and it was and he
definitely. It was
was
like a platform type
and he
thing.
was like, I don't want to be famous, and it's like, well, why have you come into the
Yeah,
celebrity
Celebrity Big
like
Brother,
this
yeah.
is going to I had no idea who he was.
no, I had no idea.
Now
who
I
it was.
do, and
Yeah.
it's like it was a bizarre choice for me for him to come in, but oh well.
He did it.
He
it
did
happened.
He did that. Lauren,
Look, I can't do silly.
silly.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
I was going to say iconic, but I'm not going to use the same
yeah,
word again.
yeah. Who have I not done? Oh, Ekin-Su.
Ekin-Su, entertaining, random. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see that.
She's
yeah.
There was one day that I was making a cup of tea and she just turned and like, this was one of our first conversations. This is why it was like not a deep basis.
Yeah.
So she turned to me and she goes, do you believe in aliens? And I'm like, Ekin-Su, you don't even know my name, do you? Like, it was so random. And I was like, I think they exist. And then she was saying about her story, that why she believes in aliens. And I was like, you're so random, but I kind of love you for it. But yeah, definitely random. For her.
Random. That makes sense. Yeah. And lastly, I think the only person I've not mentioned, Zizi.
ZZ are unique in the best way possible.
I really, really warmed to her.
I really enjoyed her
I felt
company.
bad for her when she first came in and she was voted like the unlikable or whatever it was.
I don't know why
did.
though, yeah.
And, well, it was literally like, I mean, you might watch it back one day. Literally, the only reason was because they were like, she's not, like, I don't know who she is.
Oh.
They were like, because they were like, went down and they were like, right. They'd either like known that David was on a TV show, known what Heartstopper was.
Yeah.
They like went down. Then they were just like, what is she? I don't know. Let's just vote for her. Who is she? Like, she shouldn't be here, basically. And I think that she proved herself that she was so talented, especially when you all got to do that podcast challenge.
Oh my gosh, she was so good, yeah.
So good at it, like, and it is a skill. Like, look at me, hi. But it's like it's not easy to, especially like be able to like hold an interview with multiple people.
Yeah.
And
have your opinion, but also like not be
like overbearing. Yeah, I think that she showed such a credit to herself.
Yeah.
And I thought she was really likable.
Yeah, I loved her.
I was like, if I was in there, I feel like I would be friends.
And she was
with her.
covering Good Morning Britain this morning.
Was she?
She was in the entertainment
Icon.
section.
Icon, really?
We were in at the Ivy yesterday for the brunch thing, and she just
Yeah.
went, tomorrow I'm covering Richard Arnold in the entertainment section. Me and Marisha were like,
She deserves that.
that is
so
what
much.
she needed. That's what she
Yeah.
That's probably the main reason she went on the show, to excel her, like,
Of course.
like her.
Oh, she
everyone to
deserves
know
that
her.
so much.
No,
She's
yeah,
iconic.
she's so good.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that is everybody. Have I missed anyone? I don't think I did. I think we spoke about absolutely everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you said Gary, yeah,
Gary, yeah. Well,
Sharon Louis, yeah, everyone.
there we go. But what's like one word then to sum up your experience in the Celebrity Big Brother house?
Joyful,
that.
fun. That was 2 words, but
Yeah.
yeah, joy. It was just a positive experience, and I'm so glad I did it.
I'm glad. And, you know, I think any fears that people would have for someone like you going into it, I think completely got squashed in it. And it's again, restores my faith in humanity that like someone like you can be accurately portrayed and
Yeah.
like shown as like a multifaceted person
Yeah.
who is not just like fun and exciting all the time, but is also like able to have deep conversations
Yeah.
and open up. And I think that's what the show's all about.
No,
So
definitely.
well done, Bradley. I
Thank
think that
you,
you did
Max.
amazing. I really do. So I mean, all that's left to ask now is what's next for Bradley?
What is next
What are your
for me?
plans? Is there anything in the pipeline that you can tease to us, or?
Well, the BBC show I was in came out on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
So that's
What's that
the
called?
Rec season 2.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
yeah.
I saw you posted about that.
And then, but I'm joining a musical next. I go to rehearsals in May
Really?
for a musical called Babies, a new musical.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
So I'll be doing that
exciting.
in May.
Where's that going to be in London?
Yeah, it's near, you know where Hamilton is?
Yeah.
Is it called the Other Palace?
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if you- where Heather's was.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
my God, iconic.
Yeah, so I'll be
Whoa.
there. Therefore, I think it's a 6-week run, so a short
Yeah.
but fun run.
So much fun.
Which
That's
is exciting.
amazing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't wait to see what else you get up to. Everybody get tickets to Babies.
Babies, the musical, just Babies.
Just Babies, yeah.
Babies,
The new musical. And just massive well done on everything. I
Thank
think
you.
that you like portrayed yourself so well. You didn't portray it, you just were yourself, and it came across. And yeah, very proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
just very excited to see what you get up to next. So,
Yeah, baby.
thank you for coming on the
No,
Useless
thank you for
Hotline.
having me at the Useless
Oh,
Hotline.
anytime, darling, anytime. And if you enjoyed this week's episode, give us a 5-star review. George usually does this bit. I'll try to improvise. Give us a 5-star review. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe even. Give us a thumbs up. Do not give us a thumbs down. Otherwise, I will punch you. I won't. That's impossible. I can't do that through a screen, but I'll try. And if you would like to send in any dilemmas to our podcast, please do so via our email, theuselesshotlinepodcast@gmail.com, and follow us on all social medias. Bradley, where can they find you?
Wait, do I just say like my ads?
Yeah.
Oh, at Brad_Riches on Instagram, and then at Brad_Riches with 2 S's on TikTok.
Oh, there we go. And until next time, what's like a smack my bottom?
Smack my bottom.
That's the quote of the episode.
I can't believe they didn't show that. I want to find that footage.
Wait, yeah, you need to. You need to.
I'm going to email them.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And see you next time.
See you next time.